This week, CISA flags active exploitation of JetBrains TeamCity. Two separate 10.0 bugs hit developer tooling. Researchers found a factory-installed backdoor in consumer routers, and thousands of leaked automation tokens exposed live N8N instances. If you manage CI, agent frameworks, or Linux hosts, this briefing tells you what to patch, hunt, and rotate first. Start with TeamCity. CISA flagged CVE-2026-63077, a deserialization bug in the agent polling protocol that can allow unauthenticated command execution as the server process. CISA listed active exploitation and an August 8, 2026 deadline. Paperclip CVE-2026-41679 allowed remote command execution and has a public Metasploit module. HashiCorp CVE-2026-16498 is a cross-tenant credential reuse bug fixed in version 1.1.0. Why this matters. CI servers and control planes hold deployment credentials, build artifacts, and automation hooks. A compromise can expose secrets, corrupt builds, or let attackers run deployment steps. Paperclip's chain used default registration in import routes to reach host execution, and Rapid7 published a Metasploit module. Terraform MCP's isolation failure can let one user's token be reused for another's requests in stateless HTTP mode. Who should act now? On-premise TeamCity operators, teams running Paperclip publicly or in default local trusted mode, HashiCorp MCP HTTP multi-user deployments using streamable HTTP, VSPC operators, operators of ZBT-Link router models, identity teams tracking Kali 365 device code phishing, N8N instance operators with tokens exposed in commits. Editorial severity, high. Multiple high-impact vulnerabilities appear across build and control infrastructure, including reported CVSS scores in the sources. TeamCity 9.8, Paperclip 10.0, Terraform MCP 10.0. Some issues have public proof-of-concept code, and CISA reports active exploitation for TeamCity. Treat this as a high-priority patch and hunt cycle. Key dates from vendor and research reports. Google shipped ADK 2.5.0 on July 16, 2026. OVS wrap upstream fixes landed July 24. Huntress observed K-Hunt artifacts on July 27. Veeam released build 9.3.0.35057 on July 29 and published a security bulletin on August 4. AWS applied a managed mitigation before July 31. Advisories aggregated in early August. Patch status is mixed but actionable. JetBrains and CISA reference TeamCity fixes and guidance. Paperclip's fixes are in source tagged v2026.416.0. Upgrade to that tag or later. HashiCorp fixed MCP in version 1.1.0. Vercel, Google, and AWS published fixes or mitigations. ZBT-Link removed affected firmware from downloads while working on patches. Gaitia fixed the bug in version 1.27.1. Exploit reality is mixed. CISA flagged active exploitation for TeamCity. Paperclip has a public Rapid7 Metasploit module, and NVD lists proof of concept. No broad mass campaign has been publicly confirmed. OVS Wrap has a public proof of concept yielding local root on many default distributions, and was patched upstream. Huntress observed the K-Hunt Oracle Java and Database Toolkit compiled inside Oracle and reaching Windows system. GitGuardian found 4,576 unique N8N credentials in public commits, tied to 1,255 hostnames. 896 were reachable, and 321 accepted at least one leaked token. Behind the headlines, a repeated pattern is trusting shaped or stored data as executable authority. Core break agent flaws let attacker shake tool calls reach dispatch without a model turn. AWS, Google, and Vercel patched related paths. Paperclip and Terraform MCP trusted imported configuration or session identifiers, turning metadata into execution authority. ZBT-Link's Endless Doors implant is a firmware supply chain risk that beacons and can open an unauthenticated root shell via an RCTL client. Credential hygiene remains a persistent vector. Leaked N8N tokens and Kali 365 device code phishing require no software exploit to escalate access. What to do now? 1. Patch TeamCity immediately or apply CISA mitigations and rotate related credentials. 2. Upgrade Paperclip to the source tagged v2026.416.0 or disable public registration and the company import route until patched. 3. Upgrade Terraform MCP to version 1.1.0 or restrict streamable HTTP to trusted networks. 4. If Open vSwitch is not required, block future module loads or apply vendor kernel updates, unload the module or reboot if it is resident. 5. Hunt Oracle installations for cunt artifacts by searching for cunt star objects and SQL logs for KHEUNT%. 6. Revoke and rotate leaked N8N API tokens, enforce expiration and least privilege, and scan repositories for committed keys. 7. ZBT-Link router owners should follow vendor notices, check for kworker and libctl artifacts, and block egress to reported C2 endpoints until patched firmware is available. Takeaway. 2 practices matter most. 1. Treat configuration, session history, and structured messages as executable input. Add provenance checks and require explicit admin approval. 2. Credential hygiene wins. Rotate long-lived tokens, enforce multi-factor authentication and expirations, and scan repositories for secrets. Patch vendor fixes, hunt where proof of concepts exist, and treat credential exposures as immediate compromises. All sources are listed in the video description. Reporting and technical details were drawn from the Hacker News aggregations of vendor advisories and primary research from CISA, Rapid7, Huntress, GitGuardian, VulnCheck, Microsoft, Oasis Security, Open Source Malware, and others. See the description for the full URL list.